that flopped or that are actually fantastic. Whoa, dude! Games that flopped but are actually fantastic. Oh my god! Put me in the butt. The right amount of butt juice. Juice my butt cheeks. And we're gonna see what games. Maybe there's some hidden classics here, some hidden gems that I haven't heard about. Some things that really make my bricked up in the afternoon. Let's go.
It can be tough to watch real gems failing from a financial point of view. This can oftentimes condemn the future of a potential franchise, sometimes even the studio's future. But flops aren't always doomed to perpetual failure. Sometimes all a game needs is a bit more time to find its audience and be recognized for what a masterpiece it is. I'm Josh. Welcome to Hotfix Gaming. Here are 10 examples of games that flopped but are actually great. 10. Enslaved, Odyssey to the West.
Bro, enslaved, based. I'm based and I'm enslaved. Actually, that looks pretty fucking sick. I just wanted to make a slavery joke because I'm a horrible person or whatever, but this looks sick. Whatever that thing is, cool.
On the same classic Chinese tale that inspired Black Myth Wukong, Enslaved adapts the story in an original way, bringing elements of this rich mythology into a post-apocalyptic future. Despite the great positive reviews it got, it failed to reach the audience it deserved. The story of Enslaved follows two protagonists who must unite in order to survive in a world devastated by war's machines. The narrative is quite moving as it explores the development of the relationship between the characters.
I'm not gonna lie, this looks pretty fire, and it's not just because she has really nice tits, and I can see like the part that doesn't get as much sun peeking out, which is always a nice sign, boys and girls. And this guy's got some back muscles for you ladies out there. You ladies like them back muscles and the scars and stuff. Maybe I don't fucking know what women like. I just like pipe my wife down, and then she says, "Good job, Jeffrey." But I don't know, this is looking pretty good. I'm gonna have to look into some of these games to see what they're on.
Which initially starts off tense, but evolves into something much deeper.
Dude, he looks like a fucking doofus.
As the plot progresses.
They knew exactly what they were doing. They knew exactly what they were fucking doing with her character design. They were like, give her nice tits, make her have a pretty face. Him, we're gonna make him look cool, I guess, but he kind of looks doofusy, but look how pretty she is.
Gameplay does a great job of mixing action with exploration in some beautiful and vibrant environments. Even without the high sale numbers, Enslaved managed to establish itself as a cult title, praised for its unique approach to the classic journey to the West and how it creates a lasting emotional connection with its players. 9. MotorStorm Apocalypse.
Yeah, no, that game looks cool. I'm gonna have to see if that one's on PC. I want to play it. I mean, it might be like a backwards compatible game on Xbox or something too. They have a weird ass fucking lineup of games that made it into that backwards compatibility world.
A game developed by Evolution Studios and released for the PS3, MotorStorm Apocalypse is the 4th game in the series, and arguably the one that performed the worst commercially. However, there are a few reasons why this title just sold a little over 200,000 units.
I fucking miss this style of racing game. We don't really get this anymore. We don't get the cool fucking Burnout, the wild concepts, over-the-top racing game. It's like fucking everything's Gran Turismo and Horizon, which fucking is boring, dude.
Firstly, the game's advertising was cut due to the 2011 Japanese tsunami. Secondly, many reviewers felt that the events depicted in the game echoed real disasters too well, like variants of the track Boardwalk. The poor performance of the game actually caused game director Matt Southern to even fear for the future of Evolution Studios. Luckily,
bro, it just seems like fucking they got a whole tsunami of problems that came at this game. It seems like it was fucked from the beginning.
That wasn't the case, and the franchise went on to release the last installment of the series, MotorStorm RC. Despite all the financial troubles, MotorStorm as a franchise and Apocalypse in particular are beloved racing games by many players who are wondering to this day if Sony will ever make games like these.
Wrong, Sony will not. Sony does not give a fuck about their old IPs. Sony only gives a fuck about what happened on the PS4. Anything that happened previous to the PS4 that wasn't The Last of Us, they don't really fucking care. You can take Killzone, you can take Resistance, you can take basically anything they fucking did, and they just don't care. They will let it sit and only be stream only on their console, and it's really fucking annoying.
These ever again. 8. Mad Max. Mad Max is an open-world adventure game that was released a few months after the Mad Max Fury Road movie. But despite that, it isn't a direct adaptation. It takes a number of visual and thematic cues from the film, but it's otherwise an isolated story. The game did a stellar job of nailing the tone and atmosphere of this post-apocalyptic world. It really feels like it's being pulled out from the screen at times, with the sandy horizons turning from half.
I played a little bit of this game. So far, this is the only game I've played anything of, and I liked it okay. I really like the dude that sits on the back of the car, and it's like, me, I'm a goblin, I'm a fucking goblin. I eat women's testicles. Huh, those don't exist. They're called ovaries. But I don't really like the combat. I think if I remember right, it was Batman-style combat, and I'm not the biggest fan. Hey, what's up, big buddy? What's up, dude? Dustman Games is in the house. But this game, I really like a lot of it, but I hate Arkham-style combat. I think it's fucking shitty. I think it was the worst thing to replace the hack-and-slash combat, because that's how the industry goes. You get a game that comes out. It's like, it's the big fucking cheese. Like, God of War did it before God of War. There was something else, and then there was some other motherfucker that came out there and just really juiced some titties. And you had these games that was like, this is the thing, and then everybody copies that thing. It happened with Halo, it happened with Doom, it happened with God of War, and then Arkham games came out. Now, I don't fucking like the Arkham games. I like the Arkham games. That's wrong. I like Arkham Asylum. I haven't played Arkham City. Arkham Knight was okay. I played most of that. I never really liked the combat. It does feel good in the Batman games. It feels fucking meaty and whatever. But when I played the Spider-Man game on PlayStation, I haven't played God Hand. I need to play God Hand. But is it on PC? Let me know if it's on PC. But I was playing I was playing that Spider-Man game that Insomniac released. That doesn't feel like Spider-Man combat. It never feels like good Spider-Man combat. It feels like shitty Batman combat in a Spider-Man game. But because the free-form combat from the fucking Batman games got so popular that we got Mad Max with Arkham Combat, we got Spider-Man with Arkham Combat, we got Lord of the Rings with Arkham Combat, and it's like, dude, there's all these genres of games that I just don't enjoy. I find it to be the most tedious, spongy combat ever made.
White to blood red, depending on the time of day. All as you burn rubber and blow up war boys on your adventures. It mixes together Arkham...
It's easy emulated. I need to get into emulation. There's a game I really want to play on emulation. So there's this series. I'm getting on a tangent here, but there's a series called Hunter the Reckoning. Hunter the Reckoning was a Xbox original release title, and it also was a release title on the GameCube. So the GameCube and the Xbox got Hunter the Reckoning, right? Well, then the sequel, Interplay was like, you know what's a good idea for a sequel? Let's put it on a console that the first game's not on. So then it was a PlayStation 2 exclusive. Why the fuck is a sequel to a game that's not on the PlayStation 2 now a PlayStation 2 exclusive, right? Well, then they decided, oh, well, we're going to make a third game. Well, we got a third game in mind. We want to make a third fucking entry. What do we do? We're going to make it an Xbox exclusive. So, you go fucking Xbox, GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox. Poor GameCube fans out there just never, all those Nintendo fans were like, what is a Hunter the Reckoning 2? What is it? No one knows. There's 4 of them? I don't think there's 4 of them. I think there's only 3 Hunter the Reckonings, isn't there? I think there's only 3. Reckoning games. I think there's only 3. Dude, why is this actually being the fucking bane of my existence? Gameplay, I don't care. Plot, blah, blah, blah. Development, overall release, GameCube, backwards compatibility, Xbox references. I made a video on that. Oh, well, I will watch your video. Matter of fact, let me do this. Retrobat, blah, 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 blah. Let it play for a second. Boom. Now I'll stop it. So that was happening on another screen. I was fucking juicing up some titties real quick. Juicing up some titties. Yeah, but there's 3 games, and part of the trilogy just, well, and how, this is why Interplay shut down as a studio. It's like, they kept making fucking stupid decisions, like putting the trilogy of games, a trilogy of fucking games on 3 different consoles. Like, imagine being a huge fan on the GameCube, and this is why exclusivity is actually super anti-consumer, and I say this all the time, which I know pisses off all the console fanboys in the world. They go home, my plastic box is so nice, my plastic box is so nice. And what's really happening is they're sucking off a corporation, and they're not realizing that they're getting fucked in the ass without a reach around. Like, why would you do that to yourself? It's just so sad. Huh. Oh, and hello, Seymour. I am gonna check out your emulation video. But it's just so irritating to me personally that people are so okay with exclusivity when you see the type of moves that a lot of these companies have, where they'll make a series exclusive when it previously wasn't, and then you see things like what Interplay was doing, which is why they closed. It's just like they were trying to jump on and get those extra sales from just making a game exclusive, and it's stupid.
Inspired melee combat, excellent vehicle traversal, and a rewarding gameplay loop where you are constantly cementing Max's grip on the wasteland. However, in retrospective, the game was doomed from the start. Not only did it release months after the movie, when the Mad Max hype was kinda dead.
Consoles should honestly be for local co-op games only. I mean, it's a funny joke. I did get a little hee hee. But the thing about consoles, why they will always exist, and even if exclusivity dies, consoles will still exist, is you're going to get that normie consumer. You're gonna get that normie motherfucker who just wants to come home, sit on his couch, and not fiddle with all the shit on PC. Now, PC isn't as hard as people think it is. I just started getting into PC gaming this year. I have fully dived in. I am a big fucking fan of everything that is being presented to me. I mean, if I didn't have a PC, I would have never been able to play DOSMan's games, and DOSMan's games fucking kick all sorts of clits. But here's the thing, it's like you got that normal guy, and I think the best thing that could happen, well, Steam tried to release a console a long time ago, and now there's a little bit of rumors that Steam's coming out with another console, but there's also rumors that Xbox is going to open up their platform to stuff like Steam, which, now, I'm deep in the fucking Alex Jones rabbit holes here. Listen, the globalists are gonna put Steam on the Xbox. But what we have, I think what's gonna happen is you're gonna start seeing consoles, and I think Microsoft's gonna head this up, but I think you're gonna start seeing more open platforms, and it's gonna be through the interface of an Xbox. It's kind of gonna be like an iPhone, where you can play a bunch of different apps, but or not an iPhone, more like a smart TV, where it's like, okay, I got my Steam app here, I got my Xbox app here, I got my PlayStation app here, and I can play all these games. Well, yeah, and I don't think the Steam, and see, I think a move like so if Microsoft or PlayStation, but PlayStation would never do something like this. The Japanese are fucking weird with that shit. But if Microsoft were able to do something like that and really open up the platform, the Steam Deck would be an accompany piece to Game Pass, which it already is. You can already get Game Pass on the Steam Deck. And that's the wonderful thing about, and I'm glazing Xbox a little hard when they do deserve criticism, because I think the hardest thing that Xbox has had a problem with is they try to maintain their image, so they force games like Postal and some of these edgier games that aren't allowed on the console. And it hurt. It's like, it's fucked. Why wouldn't you let Running with Scissors on your platform? That's fucking garbage, and Xbox deserves to be held accountable for that type of shit. And a lot of, like, the way Xbox handles all of their, Microsoft handles all of their studios, there's tons of things to hate Xbox on. But I think if they took the approach that we are a it's more of a, it's not platform anymore, it's more like an interface. It's more of there's a word for it, ecosystem, more of an ecosystem. And they came in and said, like, your normal dude that loves FPS games, that can't get any FPS games on because they're all on Steam, now has that option to play them on a console, and it doesn't have to fuck with the PC stuff. So can sit on his couch, eat Cheetos, jerk off, and play on his controller with one hand.
But it also launched on the same day as one of the most anticipated open-world games of the generation, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. It's hard to compete with that. 7. Okami. From the moment it was announced, the gaming press was enamored with Okami.
I've never played Okami either, but that was a game that looked interesting. I don't play a lot of games that aren't FPS games. I know it's an issue. Oh, this is another Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I got a buddy that's fucking obsessed with those games. He just,
the woodcut watercolor style was unlike anything else that had come before. And while Okami's gameplay took obvious inspiration from The Legend of Zelda, its innovative celestial brush mechanic and unique takes on Japanese mythology were more than enough to set it apart from the typical Zelda clone. But when it launched, Okami was a critical darling that was a financial failure. The way it flopped in its first year was so significant that it still holds the Guinness World Record for having...
I can turn off closed captioning. I can go turn off. That's something I put closed captioning on everything. It's an issue.
The poorest commercial performance for a Game of the Year winner. Many believe that the game's exclusivity to PS2, even though the title came out just a few months before the PS3 was released, was a
that right there is the reason it flopped. That is the reason it flopped right there. I never played the first Kingdom Come. I have a little bit. I got to the sword training and I said, "Fuck, I'm outie, bro. This is too much." It's one of those things that a lot of games, and this is the problem with that early era of gaming, and it pushed all the way through the PS3 to the PS4, or the 360 to the Xbox, is where games weren't making that jump to other consoles. It wasn't that easy jump where you could get a game, put it into your next console, and it would work. And because of that, there was a lot of games that were end-generation games that just fucking died.
Contributing factor to its sales shortcomings. The game has since gained some financial success with ports and remasters on PC and various console generations.
My chat's fucking popping right now, dude. This is amazing.
Its cult classic status is undeniable thanks to its stunning Sumie-style, gorgeous soundtrack and wonderful storytelling. 6. Alien.
Well, and the problem that PlayStation had is the first PS3 wouldn't play PS2 games, and that's fucked, dude. That was fucked because Sony's always had this weird thing where it was like they believed in generations, right? They believed in these generations, so you'd follow the bouncing balls to the generation, but that meant that all these other bouncing balls were left in the fucking dust. And when you do that, you're not only hurting game developers that really work hard on their shit, but you're also hurting like yourself. It's kind of sad.
Alien Isolation. Praised as one of the most terrifying games out there, Alien Isolation was loved by players and sold over 2 million copies.
Dude, IGN shit on this game so fucking hard. IGN basically took their nutsack out, sat it on Alien Isolation's head, dragged it across the fucking, it just put his ball slop on its fucking, everybody's face. It was just like, yeah, fuck you, Alien Isolation. Go fuck yourself. And, there was a lot of people that shit on this game unfairly in the media, and this is one of my biggest problems with the gaming media, in general, because the gaming media, you'll notice that, they'll suck off these big game industries, and they will make article after article after article after article about, well, it's not the game's fault it failed, it's the gamers that are the problem, or it's this that's the problem. The game's actually a masterpiece. Close your fucking lying eyes, because this game's a fucking giggity schmoodle super beat. I watched it happen with Immortals of Avion, and I fucking hate that game. I watched all these media outlets talk about how Immortals of Avion failed only because it was trying to be a story-based FPS game in 2024, and I'm like, or 2023, and I'm like, the fuck you mean? RoboCop came out that year, and it was that studio's best-selling game of all time. Best-selling game of all time. DOSman is out there making games, and I think he's successful. He's like an indie fucking gem darling. I feel like every time DOSman drops a game, you got Zimblaski and all these other people talking about his games, and we're in a boomer shooter renaissance. But the single player first person game isn't marketable anymore. It isn't profitable anymore, and yet the indie market for FPS games is better now than it's ever been before. And you're telling me that's the reason Immortals of Avion failed? And that's the problem that we have with gaming media, is they don't understand gaming. They are AAA slodge idiots that went to school hoping that they would be journalists in some war-torn country, but instead are talking about video games they give half a fuck about.
In its first year alone. Despite this success, Sega considered it underperforming and expected it to sell more. Some people say that Sega simply held too high of an expectation.
I never played this game, by the way. It wasn't my type of game. It's never going to be my type of game. But yeah, it had zero identity. Immortals of Avion was just fucking their big turn in that game, I've said this a million times, was that they had this big underlining story of racism, but instead of actually talking about the nuances of racism or how it affected this world, they sat there and make sarcastic jokes the whole time and then lectured you. It's like, well, what's your fucking messaging, dog? What's your messaging? If you want this to be a dark fantasy with a world that's, like this horrid world that has the underbellies of some seedy fucking racism going on, then let me see it. Don't be afraid. Fucking take that gnarly fucking edge and put it in my face. Let me feel uncomfortable about it. Don't sit here and make jokes like, oh, really? Oh gosh, he's one of the bad ones throughout the whole game, and then just throw some serious shit in my face and expect me to care and then lecture me for 20 minutes.
Gamers were buying Fallout 4 at the time, and horror games generally don't do as well as other AAA releases. There were rumors spreading that another Alien game was in the works, but nothing came of them, except for a mobile game, Alien Blackout. The game is a masterpiece of immersion that spawned from its existence.
I'm skipping ahead because
prior to the success.
I'm skipping ahead because I already know everybody talked about Alien Isolation. Alien Isolation is a game that is glazed. It became a success. I feel like Alien Isolation has became a success in its own right.
Number 5, Splinter Cell Blacklist.
Dude, yes. Elder Scrolls covered racism better. Fucking Dark Souls covered racism better, and like, I don't even know if Dark Souls covered racism, but if they did, it was covered fucking better. Everything covered racism better than Immortals of fucking Avion. AAA does only one genre better than in third-person fighters. Not, but Sifu. Sifu was indie. I think that there needs a. I think the problem with AAA right now is a lot of people don't. I think if more games would like fuck around and try to make more God of War likes and try to harken back to that time period, I think we'd have more cool games. But right now, people are defaulting to the AAA for third-person games. You're right there, but we are seeing some cool third-person shooters that are coming out. Like, I mean, what was that game that I need to get it on PC because I liked it on console, but I would rather play it on PC. You have to let me know. It was like the Vampire Max Payne game, and I really liked that game. But we're starting to see some cool third-person games coming out with that retro art style.
Prior to the success of Assassin's Creed and Just Dance,
fighters are always gonna But the fighting genre doesn't have the same problems because the fighting genre has a lot of competition. The fighting genre has so much fucking competition that they have to drop peak or their game fucking dies.
Tom Clancy's games were arguably Ubisoft's biggest hits. Rainbow Six revolutionized close quarters tactical squad shooters with its relentless difficulty and necessity.
Okay, I'm gonna go on another rant. El Paso, thank you, El Paso. I'm gonna go on a fucking rant about Rainbow Six Siege right now. This fucker's talking about Rainbow Six, and yes, the Rainbow Six games did revolutionize like tactics and stuff in games. Rainbow Six Siege is a fucking spit cum shot on Tom Clancy's grave, and here's why. Since the moment that game released, this is why. Yes, it has the tactical output that you would find in a Tom Clancy book, but it has none of the narrative. So Tom Clancy had to use the write off and sign off on every single game's narrative. Even if he didn't write the game's narrative, he had to write off on it saying that he approved of it. And And before he died, every single Tom Clancy game that came out, you knew was going to have a pretty fucking good story, because Tom Clancy was a part of it. Splinter Cell is one of the greatest series ever put to video games. Pandora's Tomorrow, Splinter Cell 1, the one that came after Splinter Cell, Pandora's Tomorrow. I can't remember. I didn't play that one. I know Pandora's Tomorrow was like a controversial one, but I fucking love that game, and I think its hard style held up the best. But I love the story in those games, because you can go play a game like Metal Gear Solid, right? Metal Gear Solid's very similar to Splinter Cell, and it has that fucking Japanese Kojima jizz over everything. He is gaping his asshole over that entire thing. It's got inspiration from here, it's got inspiration from there, and it's very over the top. But you play Splinter Cell, you actually feel like, don't get me wrong, you feel like that in Metal Gear Solid, but there's something different about Splinter Cell to me, where it's more tactical, more fucking perfect. It's just brilliant. You are the best spy in the world. You are. It feels so realistic, and the fact that Ubisoft, and this is why Ubisoft's dying as a company. This is why they're going out of business. This is why there's talks about them selling off their IPs, is because they never understood why their games in the past sold. And that's like when people talk about the Assassin's Creed Japan, or whatever the fuck that game's called, drama, and they're like, oh, they're dying because they're woke or whatever. No. They're gonna die because they never understood why people liked Assassin's Creed to begin with. They never understood why people liked Prince of Persia to begin with. The people who worked on those games are long gone, and now they're stuck with this trying to keep up with the modern world, instead of just putting out a bunch of good AA games.
Necessitated planning. Ghost Recon took the action
I haven't played Shadow Watch.
to larger areas for a blend of intense action and precision, but it was Splinter Cell that cemented Ubisoft's place as the master of the techno-military thriller game. The series took the stealth action...
Dude, you couldn't go anywhere in the 2000s without seeing the 3-lens goggles. Splinter Cell was people talk about, when they think about like the original Xbox, right? Because Splinter Cell eventually did come to PlayStation, but the first game was on the Xbox exclusively. And people like to forget that and pretend, especially with kind of the hatred that Microsoft rightfully got after the Xbox One, and then the Series X has been kind of just there. But they forget how monumental games like Halo and Splinter Cell were to the identity of Xbox, and how monumental they were in keeping and solidifying Microsoft's spot in the gaming industry. Splinter Cell was a fucking cultural phenomenon at the time. You couldn't go anywhere without seeing shit from Splinter Cell. You couldn't pick up any video game magazine without seeing Splinter Cell. And then Splinter Cell just dies off. And the problem with Ubisoft is they just let shit die off.
Action concepts pioneered by Metal Gear Solid and improved them to near perfect levels, even working the tagline "Stealth Action Redefined" into the first game's full title. Splinter Cell evolved and morphed into the years that followed, adding more action elements, a greater emphasis on dark, personal storytelling, and creative new multiplayer modes. For a long time, it seems like it could do no wrong, and even after needing to switch actors for Sam Fisher when developing Splinter Cell Blacklist...
Yeah, dude, the original Xbox is still my favorite console of all time. It is my favorite console of all time. There's nothing... I have a lot of nostalgia with it, so I am clouded with nostalgia. But the release lineup for the original Xbox was so fucking good, and it did so much in terms of innovation in the industry, that I think a lot of people forget that's why. Because people like to downplay the fact that Microsoft made it into the gaming industry. Well, they were a multi-billion-dollar company at the time. They had way more money than everybody else, and I was like, that doesn't matter. Apple failed, Panasonic failed, and these were all giants of the industry, and they all fucking floundered themselves to death. But Microsoft went in and they made something impressive. And they had enough stuff that made the console worth getting, and it was this release lineup that wasn't really headed by Microsoft. Like Halo wasn't even it was a game that was just gonna release. It was just a game that was gonna fucking release and exist. and then it became the fucking mascot for the Xbox. And you had games like I think Jade Empire was exclusive to Xbox, if I'm not wrong, and Jade Empire's a fucking BioWare masterpiece. I have a video on it. If you ever want to see my video on it, check it out. But I love Jade Empire. There was a lot of just fucking the KOTOR was exclusive to Xbox at the time, and like, not, I don't care about exclusivity as much, but it was the games that ended up like defining a lot of these great genres hit the Xbox hard and fast. And it did something really special, and it was so special, in fact, that like I think that it was why the 360 put PlayStation on its ass for a long portion of that. If Microsoft would have been in more countries, I don't think the PlayStation 3 would have outsold the Xbox 360. And that competition is what gave us the PS4, and the PS4 fucking spread its butt cheeks and shit all over Xbox. It's in that competition is what's good for the industry. I want PlayStation to succeed. I want Nintendo to succeed, and I want Microsoft to succeed because they all build upon each other, and their moves influence the others' moves. I mean, do you think it's a fucking Serious Sam? Yeah. Serious Sam 2 was on Serious Sam 2 was on Xbox, and it looks gorgeous. I have it on PC. It looks a little better on PC. It looks better on PC, obviously. But Serious Sam 2 is still a gorgeous game. I think Serious Sam 2 is the best looking game out of all the Serious Sam games. Easy. Yeah, dude, BioWare's fucking cooked. BioWare's cooked. Dragon Age Veilguard looks like it's fucking ass cheeks in the AIDS sweltered dungeon of hell. But it was this... I like this because you think it's a coincidence that PlayStation is releasing their shit so soon on PC. They saw that Xbox was making. I haven't played Razor's Hell or Raises Hell, but there's a lot of games DOSman is bringing up right now that I have not played. But you think that it's a coincidence because like. People talk about like, oh, Microsoft's dying, Xbox is dying, blah, 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 blah. It's a thing that is constantly reiterated, and it's been reiterated ever since they put that first Remedy game, whatever that Remedy game was, the one with like, they all have time bullshit. Everything Remedy does has like time warping bullshit, but it was the dude, the one with the dude from The Hobbit. And that game's really fun. The fucking live action shit they did was garbage though. But they released that day and date on PC. And there's this thing that a lot of people like to talk like Microsoft's in a plummeting state. But if you look at their sales, they're doing actually pretty good. And it's because they have fallback points now. They have fallback points, and that's cool. That's fucking cool. I love that. And I love that PlayStation is doing it now because they released the game because they saw Xbox was making money, and they're like, oh fuck, we can make money too. And now more people get to enjoy a game than ever before, and that's all I care about because I love gaming. I love video games, and I want everyone on every platform to play the games I love. I want people on the fucking Switch to play Halo. What? Let's make fucking Halo 1 Switch port, baby. Let's do it. Phil Spencer, you need to bring your soggy bottom. I want you to scratch your bottom along the floor like a sweet doggy over to my stream, and you need to make a Switch port of Halo so I can play Halo on the go. I could get a Steam Deck, but I already have a Switch, so I can beg for ports if I want to.
This new studio, Ubisoft Toronto, delivered a slick mix.
I don't think Seymour, I do not think that I know chat's on a screen, so I'm just kind of like schizo rambling to myself, but I don't think Xbox is ever going to do away with the console. I think what they are going to do is they're going to make it a more of an open platform and have it like a smart TV.
Of traditional stealth and deadly action. However, Blacklist didn't achieve the commercial.
But yes, releases a game, then remasters it 6 months later, and then remakes it a year later. Exactly, that's my problem. If they're not remaking any of the games that I fucking want them to remake, why aren't you remaking the fucking Resistance series? Why aren't you remaking the Killzone series? These are games that were like huge for you at your time period. They were PS3 darlings, and you're letting them die in obscurity? The whole PS3 library is dying in fucking obscurity because you don't care. Remaster the games that you don't already have on the console.
Commercial success it deserved. Despite its quality, the game sold only 2 million copies, despite Ubisoft's expected 5 million. And since then, there hasn't been another Splinter Cell game. There are rumors of a remake.
Yes, remaster Jak and Daxter. Well, I fuck Jak and Daxter. Jak and Daxter is fucking booty chicks. We already have Crash Bandicoot on modern consoles, remastered, remade, beautiful. And Jak and Daxter is just fucking Crash Bandicoot over again. Jak 2 on the other hand needs a fucking remaster because Jak 2 fucking rocks. What they should do is they should release, like Crash Bandicoot did, a Jak and Daxter collection with all of them remastered, and then they could also and then I did all that amping, and then I forgot the name of the game. It's the one with the little fox, the little raccoon that's the spy. What the fuck is the game? What's the raccoon spy game? God damn it! Raccoon spy game. I want those back. I want those games back. I fucking love those games. I want them, and I want a collection where it's Sly Cooper. I want a Sly Cooper collection. Like, why aren't they making these collections? They have the IPs. They have the people to do it. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. I want a Sly Cooper collection. Why the fuck are you doing this, PlayStation? OG God of War trilogy would be nice. Fuck the modern God of War games. I thought I liked God of War 2018, and there is still part of me that kind of likes God of War 18, but it is a step back. It is a step back in terms of what? God of War used to be this over-the-top action experience that didn't give a fuck. And as much as I don't like David Jaffe in the 2000s, 90s, and 2000s didn't give a fuck. He was cutting his teeth on an edge, baby. And that's what the God of War games were. Yeah, they're already made on PS3, which you can't play on modern consoles. Like, in the PS3, like, that's... If I'm gonna hold Xbox to this, I hold Xbox to the standard. What I see something on Xbox, and I see like, look at all of Xbox's mainline IPs. Almost all of the Microsoft mainline IPs you can get on modern hardware, all of them, and they have collections on, like the Master Chief Collection, right? Well, then I look at PlayStation, and I'm like, ooh, I'm new to PlayStation. I got a PS4 and then a PS5, and I'm like, I really want to play these games that I missed. Well, how do I play them? Suck 80 fucking dicks and stream them at a fucking 15 frames per second. Like, I get that they were, like, the PlayStation 3 had them, but I'm not going to go fucking buy a PlayStation 3. Like, that's my thing. I don't want to buy another console when I'm looking at a billion-dollar company, a multi-billion-dollar company that like was in the talks to buy fucking fucking the Souls company, whatever, FromSoft, the parent company of FromSoft, but they can't fucking call Night Dive. They can't call Night Dive up and say, hey, could you remaster some of our games, please? Could you make ports? Yeah, but I don't want to buy a PlayStation 3. That's the problem. I already have like 7 consoles. So I'm just cluttering up my house and cluttering up all this stuff. Like, I get that I could go in and put all this work to do extra, but it's like I already have all this other stuff. Why should I have, like, why as a consumer of a PlayStation product should I have to work harder to play their other products? Like, that's where my problem is. That's where my problem is, because it's like, it's one of those things that it's just, like, I look at like, oh wow, I can play all this stuff natively. Why can't I play it? You're a multi-billion-dollar company. You have all this money. You went last year. You released one fucking game like Astrobot and Concord, which you already shut down that studio. Why aren't you just putting out these collections? Get some studio. You have Bluepoint. You have all these studios. You could outsource. You could get a bunch of shit out. And the Yellow Light of Death, I haven't heard of that. I didn't realize PlayStation had something like the Red Ring. But it's one of those things that it's like, I have thought back and forth because PS3 would be the console. If I was gonna get a PlayStation, I wouldn't get a PS2. I'd get the PS3. They could play the PS2 games. And I know that sounds really fucking. You're sitting from like a place of privilege, but I think that they need to be held to a higher account because it's like why I'm looking at it. I don't understand what PlayStation's doing right now. Like there's just so much. There's so much fucking money sitting on the table, right there, ready to be grabbed. And we're gonna remake fucking Last of Us again. Fuck off, dude. Fuck off. Like, it's so stupid when The Last of Us 2 is got remade, and Uncharted 1 plays kind of like shit. Why not remake Uncharted 1? Like, I love the Uncharted collection. I do. I think it's cool. But Uncharted 1 is fucking rough. Why not remake it? Why not remake the games that are actually fucking old and test the waters? Early PS3s had the... Oh, okay. So the PS3s and the Xbox both have the issues. Okay. It's just... And I think like what Xbox has done with backwards compatibility is good. I think what backwards compatibility is done with Xbox is good, but it could be better. It could be way fucking better. You know how many original Xbox games that I just want to pop into my modern console and play? Like, if you're gonna do emulation, why not do emulation on your console? Why not put emulation on it? Have your console be a full fucking emulation box for your other 3 consoles. Like, if fucking mad lads on the internet can get it done, if fucking, like, people, no-lifers can get it done for free, if they can get it done for free, why the fuck can't a billion-dollar company do it?
But no new titles announced.
It's just, it drives me up a wall. It drives me up a fucking wall. Like, if Xbox were to do that shit, like if Xbox came out right now and said, oh, okay, so it's okay, thermopast underneath. Oh, we're getting some like deep dive on this PlayStation in chat right now.
Number 4, Titanfall 2. An FPS game that offers a great multiplayer shooting experience as well as a gripping...
Titanfall 2 is like a super, super loved game in the world. I need to play this. I really need to play Titanfall 2.
Single-player campaign that is guaranteed to keep you hooked from start to finish.
I fucking hated this game.
Full of...
I skipped Titanfall 2 because it's a game that I want to play. Everybody knows that it's a good game. But this game I fucking hated. I hated this game. I'm not a big fan of Insomniac. I like the Ratchet & Clank games, but I hated this game.
Sharp humor and gameplay that encouraged constant mobility. The unique traversal mechanic of Sunset...
The traversal mechanic is the only good part of this game. Every fucking character I wanted to hit with a spiked glove. A spiked glove of death in this game. I fucking hated every interaction with every character, and it's the same problem I have with Spider-Man 2. Every time I interact with any of the NPCs, I just fucking hate them. Insomniac is one of the worst studios in writing style. They suck.
Overdrive, combined with an arsenal of over-the-top weapons, makes the experience incredibly fun and distinct from other open-world games. Although it didn't achieve the commercial success expected, this is one of those games that over time has gained recognition for its innovation and bold approach.
I mean, and I agree, it had a lot of cool, like, the thing that sucks about Sunset Overdrive is the Resistance was so fucking sick. Yeah, dude, Resistance, I played a part of Resistance 3 on the PlayStation Premium bullshit sandwich program through streaming, and it's fun. It just runs at choppy frame rate, so you'll be running 60 at a time, and then you'll drop down to 30, and then drop down to 5, and then bounce it back up to 60, and it's hard to play an FPS game with that bad of... And you make FPS games, DOSman, so you understand. If you released a game that had a frame rate that bad, you would be ashamed of it. And it's hard to play something that's in that rough a state, and it's just like... But what I was going to say about this game is it was stylistically amazing. The traversal was amazing. Just the fucking characters sucked.
It offers something few games can. Pure, unfiltered fun blended with a carefree attitude that makes it unforgettable for those who experience it.
Dude.
Game.
Okay, before I get into this next one, because I'm kind of skipping through this video now because I've been on it a very long time. I do want to kind of highlight, I haven't played Psychonauts 1, but I have a buddy who is a huge platformer fan, massive platformer fan. He some of his favorite games are like Sackboy, Astrobot, all the Mario games. He's huge into Mario, but one of his favorite games of all time was Psychonauts. And I have really good internet connection, but even so, people who complain about the cloud gaming through Microsoft, and they're like, oh, it's bad, and then they're like, well, PlayStation's better. I'm like, that is a dumb argument because they both use the same streaming service. PlayStation literally contracts Microsoft's streaming service. So PlayStation is literally a Microsoft customer. In the fact that their streaming, the streaming they use is Microsoft streaming, and it's okay. It works decent enough, but like it's not something I'm in love with. Like I play stuff on cloud gaming. I like, the only time I like streaming is I have a Backbone controller and I put it on my phone and I stream games on my phone sometimes that way, while I'm watching like fucking anime or some shit, and that's okay. It works okay. It's not great. Fallen Man is really good, great too. I haven't played. DOSman is just coming in with all these fucking games I've never heard of. DOSman, you need to like message me these games and I'll look into them. Because I'm going to freak. That's a lot of games. You've just been fucking bam, 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 games, and you're just hitting me with all sorts of inspiration. But yeah, dude, if Sulaco was made on a small budget, the big studios have no excuse. Exactly. Use OBS and lower bitrate and never stream over 1080. If you upload speed, sucks ass at 780p. No, upload. We're talking about streaming games, like streaming games to you. So, like, it's not. This is like cloud gaming. We're talking about cloud gaming. And they're both Microsoft, both Xbox and PlayStation use Microsoft cloud gaming technology, or streaming technology, and it's fine now, but like it's not something I want to, like, if I'm gonna turn my console on, I don't want to stream games. I'll do it on my phone through cloud gaming because I don't expect it to run great. Like, I expect it to have the drops and shit, and I have the game set on like fucking snooze little baby boy easy so that I can just experience like atmosphere and shit.
Games from Psychonauts director Tim Schafer have sometimes had trouble clicking with mainstream audiences due to their unique art style and offbeat humor. The game already had that going against it when development and publishing difficulties meant that after 4 long years...
This is another game that came out on the original Xbox. I don't know if this one came out on PlayStation. Mike, you'd know. Did Psychonauts come out on PlayStation? Let me know in the PlayStation 2. Let me know in or let me know in chat. But Psychonauts 2 is one of my favorite platformers ever made. I need to play the first one. I really like Psychonauts 2.
Years in development, Psychonauts didn't launch on PlayStation 2 and Xbox until 2005.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
no, they did. I just had to watch the video more. Look at me being a fucking idiot.
That's when most gamers were already eyeing next-gen consoles. Sales were unsurprisingly poor. Psychonauts eventually found a wider audience that matched the positive reviews, but it took a long time to get there. However, in 2011, Double Fine took back the publishing rights to Psychonauts, meaning the company could re-release the game on modern platforms. Sales took off from there and even helped to fund a fantastic sequel in 2021. Number 1.
So, these last 2 games I've actually played. I played Psychonauts 2. Psychonauts 2 is fucking one of my favorite platformers ever made. It is fucking amazing. If you do not own Psychonauts 2, go get it. It's so much fun. Or if you have Game Pass, play it on Game Pass. Please, 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 please play it. I can't ask you enough to play Psychonauts 2. It is a wonderful, wonderful experience. It is one of the most interesting, odd games ever made. And I'm actually going to finish this guy's fucking video for him. Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the most slept-on games of all time. Now, I know why this game failed. So, previous to this game coming out, Square Enix released a little game called Marvel's The Avengers. Now, if you don't know anything about Marvel's The Avengers, it was supposed to be a live service title where it was kind of a hack and slashy superhero game. It sucked. Nobody liked it. It was fucking lifeless. It was soulless. It was kind of like really leaning on the movie characters. There was nothing about it that was interesting. It sucked balls. It was sad, big, dumb, fucking sucked. It was also like, it had weird choices. Like, in Square Enix was making weird choices, like releasing characters exclusive to certain consoles, and just trying to buy anything that would get them attention for the game, and nothing was working because the game fucking sucked. It was lifeless. It was shit. Well, at a little after they released that, they were working on a Guardians of the Galaxy single-player game. When this game was announced, a lot of people wrote it off as another Avengers. The problem with this is Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the best, one of the most fun superhero games you will ever play. It's got a super engaging story. It's got, see, he's already covering the shit that I said. It's got an insanely fun gameplay loop. You play the entire game as Peter Quill, and you're directing the Guardians through attacks. It honestly feels like if you were to take Marvel Ultimate Alliance and combine it with God of War, you would have Guardians of the Galaxy. It is a wonderful gaming experience. It is one of the most fun, underappreciated superhero games of all time. And it's sad that it sits in this world of obscurity where it didn't sell well because Square Enix did their shitty fucking Marvel Avengers game. Because I think that this game would have been a hit if they would have put a little bit more effort into marketing, because they didn't market this game for shit. After the failure of Avengers, they just kind of wrote this game off too. Square Enix didn't know what the fuck they were doing. They were just kind of fucking not doing anything. And this game was fantastic. It was so much fun. I had so much fun with every second of this game. Digitally for PS3. Psychonauts 2 is on PS4. Limited run, put the first one on PS4. There's a VR spinoff on PS4. Oh, cool. I bet the VR spinoff's fun. But Psychonauts 2, I know Psychonauts 2 was on PlayStation, because I've seen it on the sale page of PS5. But I was very curious about Psychonauts 1. That's cool, dude. I really, again, dude, I will always stand on the principle that I want all games on everything, because I want everybody to be able to play the games that I love. It's just something how I've always thought. It's something that when I remember going to school and me and my friends were all talking about Halo, and there was that one kid that was like, I have a PlayStation, and it's like, and we would be like, God, I wish Halo was on that, so you could like, so we could include him in the conversation. And he had games that he would tell us about that were on PlayStation, that were on Xbox. But I just remember as a kid too thinking, why is this way? Why is this way? It's so dumb. It's just such a bad model. It's so anti-consumer, and we've tricked, and because it's been around and been this way for so long, since basically the beginning of the video game industry, that people have kind of convinced themselves that it isn't anti-consumer, and it sucks. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy was great. This video is pretty good. This is very Watch Mojo-y. Hotfix Gaming, small channel, but I feel like he has the ability to become like this channel really reminds me a lot of Game Ranks or Watch Mojo, and I think he did a really good job with his editing and everything, especially for a channel that only has 2,000 subs. I mean, that's like this video is fucking amazing. I think well, I mean, this is his biggest video probably. Yeah, it's his biggest video. Top 10 franchises with no bad games. See, that's again, like, this guy has a lot of potential. Go check him out. Fucking Hotfix Gaming.